If you would please stand for the posting of the colors by members of the National Guard.
Good afternoon. You may be seated. I'm Laura Nelson, superintendent of this school district in this wonderful community in the greatest country in the entire world. This is always an emotional day for me. I'm also the proud mother of a Marine and a former teacher of many of the people serving in our armed forces. Today it's my great honor to welcome all of you veterans who have done so much for all of us, who have sacrificed in ways that many of us will never be able to understand or even imagine. It's because of what you have done that the students in this room today are able to grow and learn and pursue their dreams. And even if their dreams aren't for the military, because your dreams were for the military, they get to live lives that few people in other countries can even imagine. We are very grateful to you. We're glad that you're here today. Because of you and your bravery and your generosity and your courage, we think differently about the Pledge of Allegiance whenever we say it. We're reminded of your sacrifice, we're grateful to you, and we're really glad you're here. We know that you have faced so many things that we don't even think about on a daily basis, but that every day we get to live better lives because of you. So this afternoon with you, this time together, is our way to say thank you just a little bit for what you've done with your whole lives so that we can live ours the way we do. Our theme for the year is commitment, and you role model this for us. At this time, I ask you to stand as the student body president, Hannah Mashoff, along with the student council, leads us all in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please remain standing for the national anthem.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, our choir, under the direction of Mrs. Amy Yoder, will be performing "Go Rest High on That Mountain."
And
choir members may be seated and band students return to the band, please. Right. My name is David Dawson. I'm the high school principal here at School Osage High School. Like Dr. Nelson, I'm honored that you have joined us here today and appreciative that you're joining us today. I want to especially thank Mrs. Hinshaw, Student Council sponsor, and the entire Student Council for coordinating our ceremony today. To the students, this ceremony is in honor of our veterans. It is a day for each of us to celebrate those who have protected our freedom, both here and abroad. Although many of us will never be called to serve our country in this way, each of us enjoys the freedom and rights for which so many men and women have fought to protect. Even the right of each of you to be here today, to receive an education, to pursue your individual passions, and to live your life in the pursuit of your own happiness. These are the rights that many people across the world only dream of. So today, I hope you'll take the time to personally thank a veteran and reflect on how you might be a part of continuing this great experiment of democracy that is the United States of America. At this time, I invite our Student Council Executive President, Anna Mashoff, to the podium to conduct the POW MIA empty table ceremony.
The white cloth used in the ceremony represents the fallen and missing in action soldiers. This table is reserved to honor our brave and selfless American military members who have perished on the battlefield, those who have not been returned to us after being taken prisoner on foreign soil, and for those who went missing and have not found their way back home. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for our fallen and our missing. The table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her suppressors. The white tablecloth, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to the country's call to arms. The single red rose reminds us of the life of each of our fallen and the loved ones and friends who miss them each and every day. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, a symbol of our continued determination to remember our fallen and find our missing. The slices of lemon on the plate are to remind us of the bitter fate of those who will never return. The inverted wine glass, they cannot toast with us at this time. The empty chair, they are no longer with us. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home from their captors to the open arms of a grateful nation.
At this time, we would like to specifically recognize a few groups of individuals. If you are an Osage staff member who is currently serving or has served, would you please stand at this time? Thank you for your service to this country and to our school. We would also like to recognize those veterans in our audience who are alumni of School of the Osage. If you are a veteran and a graduate of School of the Osage, would you please stand? Thank you. And finally, every year we have a handful of students who make the commitment to serve after graduation. If you are a current student and already committed to service in the armed forces, would you please stand and be recognized? At this time, please welcome Student Council Executive Vice President Claire Coppin to the stage to introduce our guest speaker.
Lieutenant Commander Mike Petersen grew up in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. While graduating from Morehead State University in 1966, he received his commission in the U.S. Navy from the Reserve Officer Candidate Program. He completed his Naval Flight School training in Pensacola, Florida, and received orders to Vietnam in 1968, where he was attached to the Seawolf Helicopter Squadron, the most decorated squadron in Navy history. He flew 269 combat missions, receiving 17 air medals and the Purple Heart. His other active duty tours included Helicopter Support Squadron 4, serving the Marine Ready Reaction Force in the Mediterranean. He served as a flight instructor and flight leader at Helicopter Training Squadron 18 in Pensacola, training Navy and Marine Corps aviators. Leaving active duty in 1971, he continued to serve in a reserve capacity. Duties included Carrier Air Group Mediterranean 1082 and NAS Alameda 0178. When leaving active duty, he became a home builder and real estate developer in Pensacola, Florida. When the real estate industry soared in 1981, he returned home to Minnesota, where he opened and continues to operate his insurance agency in Chaska, Minnesota. He is married to his bride, Suzan, and they have 3 children and 9 grandchildren. He is a life member of the Chaska VFW and Chaska American Legion. His passion is teaching young people that the price of freedom is not free. Mr. Petersen is the grandfather of Charlie Dooley. Welcome to the stage, Lieutenant Commander Mike Petersen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Clara, for that introduction. I want to thank my grandson and also Mrs. Hinshaw for inviting me to be the honored speaker today at your Veterans Day program. This is indeed an honor for me. This is also another special day. Would all of the Marines here please stand? Today, the United States Marine Corps is celebrating its 248th birthday. Let's show how much we love our Marines. afternoon, veterans, Osage Indians, and fellow Americans. Today is Veterans Day. Today is the day that we recognize, honor, and remember those men and women who served this great nation. All gave some gave all. Many of these men and women have come home wrapped in our red, white, and blue. Today is the day we remember those who have served. I remember August 19, 1968. I was the officer of the deck of our 2 helicopter light fire team, the Seawolves, stationed at Army Airfield, Din Long, Vietnam. That morning, Warrant Officer Eugene Tin, platoon leader of SEAL Team 1, came to brief our fire team on an ambush that they were planning against hostile Viet Cong that night. 01:30 hours that night. The radios came alive with blood-curdling radio transmissions from the SEALs. The SEALs needed help from a deadly exchange of gunfire. Our gunships were not designed for medical evacuation as they were overloaded for attack missions. As we lifted off on that black night, none of us knew what we were going to face. Knowing that an evacuation was impossible because of our heavy weight, we lightened our birds by firing 28 2.75-inch folding fin rockets into black night over the Mekong River. We also pushed overboard approximately 18,000 rounds of 7.62, which was most of our protection. As the SEALs popped green smoke to identify their position, we made an approach to an unknown situation. The landing site was barely wide enough to keep our rotor blades from hitting the surrounding tree line. After the first bird landed, of which I was one of the pilots, our gunners ran to help the blooded SEALs. One dead was placed aboard, and 2 other wounded SEALs crawled in. We lifted off and not a shot was fired. The second bird landed as we provided overhead cover. That gunship also took on wounded SEALs and then departed to Dong Tam Army Hospital. Sadly, the next morning we learned Eugene Tin died from friendly fire. This Veterans Day, I remember my friend and comrade, SEAL Team Leader, Warrant Officer Eugene Tin. A few years ago, I started hearing that there are some Americans who don't love America. They need safe places because words might hurt them. Some won't stand for the national anthem, and some will even burn our American flag. For those Americans who don't understand the price that men and women have paid for their freedoms to not love America, to kneel when our national anthem is played, and to burn our flag, I want them and those who love America to think about this anonymous presentation. It is titled, "It is the Veteran." It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter who has given us freedom of the press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the campus crusader, who has given us freedom to assemble. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the veteran who salutes the flag. It is the veteran who serves under the flag. And it is the veteran who is to be buried by his or her flag. God bless all our men and women who have served this great nation. God bless our men and women serving on active duty today, standing in the gap to protect you and me. And God bless the military heroes who have paid the ultimate price, preserving freedom. Freedom known by no other nation in history. We remember this Veterans Day.
And the Osage Band will now perform Sing for America. Please join the band in singing along to these familiar songs. service is called.
Thank you, Mr. Kyle. Thank you to School of the Osage Band. If student council members Hannah Mashoff, Claire Coppin, Taylor Johnson, Elizabeth Yoder, and Tucker Willoughby will come forward to complete the flag folding ceremony. We will conclude the flag folding ceremony with taps played by senior Taylor Lassiter.
The flag folding ceremony represents the same religious principles on which our country was originally founded. The portion of the flag denoting honor is the canton of blue containing the stars representing the states our veterans served in uniform. The canton field of blue dresses from left to right is inverted when draped as a pall on a casket of a veteran who has served our country in uniform.
In the Armed Forces of the United States, at the ceremony of retreat, the flag is lowered, folded in a triangle, fold and kept under watch throughout the night, as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out and at the ceremony of reveille, run aloft as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body.
The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life.
The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life.
The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks who gave a portion of life for the defense of our country to attain a peace throughout the world.
The fourth fold represents our weaker nature. As American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as in times of war for His divine guidance.
The fifth fold is a tribute to our country. For in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong.
The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our hearts that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces. For it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic.
The eightfold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day, and to honor Mother for whom it flies on Mother's Day.
The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through her faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great have been molded.
The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, for He too has given His sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born.
The 11th fold in the eyes of a Hebrew citizen represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abram, Isaac, and Jacob.
The 12th fold in the eyes of a Christian citizen represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust."
After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving us for the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today.
On behalf of School of the Osage, it is our pleasure to present today's flag to our guest speaker, Lieutenant Commander Mike Petersen.
All right.